It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 120 of Two Guys and a Goalie, brought to you by Quebec, Canada. Nielson, Gage, Julien and Salas, and Matt Kassian making it a perfect week on the basement blanket, and this time bringing the girls-only Paw Patrol blanket. I love it, Cass.
I just, you know what? Got to represent. Sky and Everest. I even matched the hat to Everest.
I was going to ask if you did the hat on purpose.
I absolutely did that on purpose.
Well, it looks terrific, buddy. It's an outstanding look. That's good. All right, we got lots to get to. Chris Abbott from Quebec, Canada is going to pop by. He'll join us around about 20-25 minutes into this episode. If you're watching on the live stream, of course, you can comment. If you're watching on TSN's Facebook page, you can comment there as well. And, of course, subscribe to the podcast, Two Guys and a Goalie, on all of your podcasting platforms. Gager, how you doing, buddy? What's new?
Good. What's new? Well, I think I might as well tell that story from yesterday, Dusty.
I think you should.
Chris Harrison came in and gave the date card yesterday for my wife and I. It was and we proceeded for a workout first. The first part of the day, kind of did some work, and then we worked out. Drove my daughter to dance. Then proceeded to go to Earl's South Side. It was where I met my wife back in '95. She was a waitress at the time there. I gave her 2 tickets, and she gave them to her table she was working at for better tips. But that's after that, we were just reminiscing, and then we went back to get my daughter from. She had to go to a different dance, and then one of our friends said it was nice enough to say that she would bring her home. So then again, my wife and I, we rip over to OJ's for another couple beers and some laughs. And my wife looks at me and goes, "God, this has been a great day." And I'm like, "Yeah, this has been a great day." And then she says, I feel like the Bachelorette. I'm on a one-on-one date, and I go, "Hey, well, do I get the final rose?" And she goes, "No, I want to see what happens tomorrow." So my bags are packed. I guess I'm gone. Whatever. We'll maybe next episode I'll do a Joaquin tells all about.
What's the name of that suite that they go to? Like
there was no
fantasy suite.
No fantasy suite.
There was no fantasy suite last night. There was a fantasy couch that I fell asleep on last night. I guess I was snoring, so that was it.
Buddy, we kind of glossed over the fact that when you first met her, you gave her tickets to a game and she gave them away. So did you see her give them away, or were you like looking in the crowd to see if she was at the game and you saw 2 randoms from Earl's or what?
Yeah, 2 big guys sitting up there, I guess. You know what? I didn't look that day, and I didn't find out that she gave them away because she went to Disney on Ice and skated for a while, and then I went to Europe, obviously, and then I didn't meet her again for another 5 years. I was at a local establishment one night, and I saw her, and I went over. Hey, I goes, "Hey, remember me?" And she goes, "Who are you?" And but I just with persistence, Dusty, and I asked for her phone number, and she gave it to she just blurted it out. And all I did was just repeat it probably about 1 million times in my mind. And I gave her a call 2 hours later, and she couldn't believe that I remembered her number. So she thought she'd give me a chance. It's just she dumped me again later on, and then I went full psycho. And she was coaching Italy's national champion figure skater, Carolina Costner, and. So, but she had told me she went to Banff for the weekend, and I went full psycho mode and was calling her, and I said, "Well, I guess this means more to me than it does to you." And then she back then it was cell phones, but the infancy of cell phones, and then so she got back, and obviously she had about 8 messages from Psycho Gage, and goes, I told you I was going to Banff," but she obviously thought this guy's something special, maybe short bus special, but whatever. She gave me another chance, and the rest is history.
Hernan, just to clarify, Gage, your story here quickly. Have you ever met a girl, got her number, and called her 2 hours later?
Geez, not that I can remember, but I did go the crazy route too with a few girlfriends. You're like, buddy, I get it. You called me. I'll call you back. I'm busy. Like, whatever. I just don't like you. But I've been down that road. But I've never called a girl 2 hours after. At least I don't think I have.
But it was the fact that it wasn't like she wrote it down. She just blurted it out. I didn't have paper. There was no. You couldn't think of putting it in your cell phone or whatever. I actually memorized that bad boy. So that was why it was she thought right away. So yeah. Incredible story. We got to come up with an episode name out of that one for sure.
All right. Before we get to we got to talk about it, I just want your guys' general thoughts on here. And Cass, we'll start with you, buddy. The Oilers have won 10 of 12. We've been talking for a long time about, as an organization, trying to get to that stage where before you can be a champion, you usually got to be a playoff team, or you got to be a consistent playoff team, and then people will start to take you seriously. Have the Oilers turned that corner now, Cass, or does there need to be some other level of success for us to say we expect not championships just yet, but we expect this team to be good all the time?
Well, they gotta do it this year, but then they gotta do it next year too, don't they?
Well, they did it last year. I mean, the playoffs were shitty, but
yeah, they would have been in the playoffs, I guess, last year. But I don't know. I still question consistency a little bit. It's been the best stretch in a long time. It's been a lot of fun. I'm very, very hopeful. A lot of things are going right. I just, as so many of you, I've been burned so many times before that I just want to wait and see a little bit. I still just want to be patient. So it's like I'm 75 or 80% of the way there, but I'm not all the way in yet. I need to make that evaluation because I'm in Banff and they've called me about 15 times and I'm at that last where it's just like, okay, I'm either in this and I completely believe in it, or I'm out because they're crazy. So I'm right at that point. But just need a little bit more for a little bit longer, and then maybe I'll jump on the bandwagon.
Give him a call back.
Yeah, call him back.
So very attractive today, Cass.
You need to see more, like in the regular season, or you need to see more as an organization over like the next 8 months type of thing.
I would say more as an organization over the next 8 months. Like I think you've done some really good things. Holland was a great decision to bring him in, and he's done some good things. I had heading into the season some significant question marks regarding the goaltending and them needing to upgrade. And Smith and Koskinen recently have been really, really good. And that's been really great to see. I'm still on both of them holding my breath a little bit. Can they maintain this level of play? And I hope so. I truly hope so. But yeah, it's like I want to see them get into this playoffs here and have success. But it's such an awkward year because of COVID that I want to see what they do next year, full season, off season, maybe have a little bit more cap space, so make some tweaks and just basically see how they respond and react going forward. So I just want to wait a little bit.
Hernan, where do you come out on that?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Cass, and it's funny, Dusty, because on the post-game shows, like, it's been such a positive 3 weeks for Edmonton, and we still get a lot of like negative texts, and I just think we're damaged here in Edmonton because we've been so bad for so long, right? Like, even when the team's good, we just can't find that the good in it, right? We always have to nitpick at something, and I'm guilty of that too. So I'm kind of with Cass, where I need to see a little bit more consistency. Now, if they play like this way the whole way through and win a round, I'm going to be leaning more, yeah, they've turned the corner. But like Cass said, you need to see more. This is a nice, small sample size. But I think for people here in Edmonton, like I said, we've been through a decade of darkness a few times now. So many rebuilds and changes and all that I think it's going to take a little bit more for the fans to truly, truly appreciate what this team is doing right now.
Yeah, that's the fan base is so fickle. Like that first goal that goes in, I get texts from buddies and like, "Oh, we need you." There seems like people are just waiting for them to fail almost. But I think a little bit has to do with especially after last game, getting down early like that, and seeing how the response of the team, like we're getting to the point where a lot of the superstars of this team are getting a little bit older. They're becoming men, and I think there's a maturity factor there that comes into play definitely with those guys, and to stick with the programs, stay with it, and come back and win. That's a huge character win for that team, I think. And I think they've turned a corner maturity wise. I do have to see a little bit more, and it's a weird season, but if you look, they seem to be in the same kind of position that they were last year before everything got shut down. So I'm excited to hopefully this thing can just keep rolling and snowballing into playoffs and keep going from there.
All right, we'll get back to the Oilers a little bit later on here we got to talk about it. But Gage, let's start with you, buddy. What do we got to talk about?
Well, big thing in the news just with hockey, and Mike Babcock, coming out of the Lazarus pit and returning to coach the U of S. I don't know. I've got mixed emotions about this. Has he learned his lesson? Is he, he's probably had a lot of time to reflect on past experiences and how he's done, but just from some of his wording, it just seems he's proud of what he did coaching wise. He's acknowledged some mistakes made, and he wants to get back into hockey, which is cool. And I hope that there are some changes, and that from all accounts, he's a great coach, but just some of the other things that he does and treating players obviously has to change. I love the fact that he is going to put a spotlight on the CIAU, and there's going to be a lot more attention to that hockey, because I think it's great. I can't wait to hit the Claire Drake for they were always good before the U of S and U of A games. They were quite heated. I remember, I think it's Dave Adolf, Adolf belly button to nose in between with Herbers there, and I was like, oh gosh, Herbie, don't do anything here, and it was pretty funny, but I still take Kirby in a fight with Babcock. I still think Herbs would crush him. So, but I'm happy that this might put a light on that type of hockey, and I'm excited to get into that rink for the U of S games, because that's going to be. Those are two great coaches, Ian Herbers and Babcock. So that's going to be fun to watch, I think.
Huskies, Bears are always standing room only. I was just going to say that. Go ahead, Cass.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I love that he's doing it for free too. Like, he's not doing it to try to make money. He's doing it because he likes coaching. He likes the program there and wants to be a part of seeing them have some success. So I think it's great that he's doing that. I know there's lots of guys that have lots of stories where they don't like Babcock, and I never played for him, so I don't have any of those stories. My one about him is that I had a level of respect. I just remember, especially as being a guy that was never ever going to play in Detroit. Like, I was going to be healthy scratch, and was healthy scratched every single time we played there. You know what? I walked into the rink, and he was sitting outside where Detroit's dressing room was, and he addressed me by name and just asked how I was doing. And for me, being a young guy that wasn't playing, that still at that time wasn't playing very much, I just respected him for that in that moment, and just thought highly of him in that moment for doing that. Now, again, I know there's people that have issues with him, and there certainly were personality clashes, and I understand that happens with coaches sometimes. I think this situation will most likely be different, because you're not dealing with pro players. You're not dealing with guys that are making $10 or $11 million. And yes, there's going to be pressure for Babcock to win, but it's not going to be the same type of pressure. He's going to be in a situation where his job is to try to get the most out of guys, to make sure they're doing their school, and to have success from a hockey level. So if he's just coaching hockey and he's not having to navigate the strength of personalities and egos that he had to in the NHL, well, I think, could be a great thing. So I'm excited. Bring some visibility to the league, and I'd take Herbie too. Babcock probably could be a little scrappy, but I just, Herbie strikes me now as, like, especially like having like old man strength. You always like, your dad had old man strength, and like everyone seems to have old man. Like he really seems like he'd have old man strength. He'd be pretty scary.
He does. For testing, it's hilarious because Herbie used to call me when one of their goalies was doing a lab or something. So I'd go practice with the U of A guys, and they were telling stories of fitness testing and the grip strength test, and everyone's going, "Oh, look at this, and then Herbie grabs it with his left hand and Herbie's right hand and gets like 110 on there, right? And just destroys everyone cold. Doesn't just grabs it, squeezes it. Yeah, you wouldn't want him to get those meat hooks into you. That's for sure.
That's the reason that when I interview him pregame, I high five him when we're done. Don't shake hands. High five, Herbie. Thanks, buddy. Hernan, do you think this Babcock U of S stuff is just a sign that nobody wants to touch him in professional hockey right now?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that, and like maybe he just wasn't getting the offers from pro teams, so he's like, it's a good opportunity. It's such a great league, and it's great hockey, and I was fortunate enough to work for the U of A a few games there, and I just love the atmosphere. So yeah, I think it has to do with that, where he was getting no offers, and he's just looking for something to get back in the game. He's going to a great program, and it's gonna be fun, like the boys said. Not much to add on top of that, and it was funny because yesterday. It's on Twitter somewhere, but the old dog just went off on Mike Babcock. I don't know what it was about, but he went off on him on their show yesterday. He's with Carlo Koliakovo and Hazer. So if you want to find it, it's pretty. He goes pretty. He goes. It was pretty funny, but he's not a fan of Mr. Babcock. But I agree with you, Dusty. I think this is just something where he's looking to get back in the game, and why not with the U of S?
All right, before we continue we got to talk about it. The Oilers will start Mike Smith tonight. They're going back to Mike Smith. He played extremely well after letting in that strange goal. Gage, your thoughts? Well, first of all, what did you see on that goal? How did that get through him? And your thoughts on them going back to him as opposed to Koskinen tonight?
Yeah, I'm shocked that I thought they would go back to Mikko. I would have. Bad goal. Just that plain and simple. It looked like he was in between. He didn't expect the shot, and he got down late. I'm not a fan of that reverse VH or VH when there's no danger coming from anywhere else. Like that seems like a stand-up save to me. I don't see the need to go down, because if he does pass it out, it's an extra step to get to that point of where that shot might come to, instead of one solid push and stop. So, start of the game, bad read of a play. Looked like he was trying to get the paddle of the stick down, and he didn't get it down. Just went screaming under his pad. That's the kind of goal that's a killer in certain situations. Especially with a team like Vancouver that's a wounded dog in the first place, and to give them any reason to think that they can win that game. That was a bad goal, bad time. Great bounce back though. Very tough mentally to come back from that. And let's let the Oilers goalies have to get away from giving other teams freebies like that, I think.
Cass, you surprised they're not going to Koskinen tonight?
Yeah, a little bit. Smith played really well, so I guess you could go back to him. But I like the rotation. The rotation has worked thus far. So unless maybe you're seeing something with Koskinen where he needs a little bit more practice time, or Smith just wanted to keep the Smith train rolling, where he was mentally engaged and had a really good game, and he did. I picked the breakaway save as the turning point ultimately in the game, because if they score on that, then I think the comeback stalls. So maybe you go with the guy that held you in there long enough so you can make a comeback. So it's not. I'm not upset about it. I am just a little bit surprised that it's not Koskinen.
Nando, what do you think?
I'm with Cass. I think I'm a little bit surprised, but not disappointed. I mean, Mike Smith is 5-0. He's playing well, and yeah, he let in that weak goal. But like Gage said, and like the fight he showed in that second period, he stopped that breakaway, a partial breakaway on Bo Horvat, made some good saves, and a big reason why the team was able to come back and win that game. So, you know what? It's a little bit surprising, but I kind of like it. Like, go with the guy that's running well right now, and why not? Mike Smith, like I said, he's 5-0, and right now he probably gives you the best opportunity to win. So, yeah, I kind of like it.
All right, Cass, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
Well, I think it was last show we talked about how much leash does Claude Julien have.
Not much, I guess.
Not much.
It's a shot caller.
Yeah, I thought he had till the end of the season, with no fans there. We talked about how there probably was a little bit less pressure to get him fired, how they did have a really good start to the season, although there've been some struggles recently. And just like that, they bring the axe, and Julien is gone. Now, I guess you're looking for a change. You're looking for a switch. How much does this really change your team? I don't know. I don't know if it does. Maybe it sparks something and it gets guys going again, but it's kind of like the switch we saw the other night where the Oilers pulled Mike Smith and put in Koskinen, who, by the way, Dusty, we could say should be 5-1. He's 5-0 record-wise, but really he's 5-1. Just to clarify, but just to try to shock the guys and get something going here, because I don't know how much this change will actually do. Like, it doesn't change the makeup of the team. Doesn't change that they were red hot scoring goals and now they're not. Maybe from an emotional level it helps for a little bit, but the first coach to have the axe fall this year will be an interesting situation because you've got your interim, but for any other teams, if they're not wanting to promote from within, especially for the teams in Canada, anyways, if you're wanting to hire a coach, it's in Canada. If you're wanting to pull Babs out of the U of S. Going to be a little bit tougher to do if you have to pull someone cross border. And I'm interested to see what that would look like if a team has to quarantine a coach for 14 days. But overall, hopefully, Dusty, for you, the Montreal Canadiens will turn this around. This will spark a little bit of jump in them, and the Bleu and Rouge will rise again because they've been sucking recently.
I don't even know if it'll give them the bump for tonight, like the new coach bump. I'm not even sure they're in that position. Because, Gage, tell me if you think a new head coach fixes Carey Price's .893 save percentage. Because if Price had a .915, Claude Julien's still the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, the coach relies on their goalie a little bit more when things are going poorly. That's for sure. I'm shocked at Carey Price's performance right now. Of course, he's going to bounce back eventually, but I don't think they get a bump at all, Dusty. I don't think that changes too much. Maybe guy fires up guys a little bit, but yeah, they just have to play better as a team and get a little bit better goaltending. That's the biggest thing to me. I don't think it was a coach thing. I had Julien for a few months. He another guy that sucked all the talent out of me, I guess, and won some cups. So, I remember one time it was pregame skate, and he came over to talk to me because I was starting, and I thought he was going to tell me about, here we go, let's go have a good game. He said, Joaquin, he looked down in the net and goes, there's a lot of pucks in the net. So I said, okay, I'll pick it up, coach. And then he skated away. But he was a good coach. I liked him. Guys liked him, but I don't think it gives him a bump.
Renee, what do you think?
It was interesting listening to a lot of the Montreal media yesterday saying that they weren't surprised. They kind of saw this coming, which is a little bizarre. I don't think any of us saw them sustaining that tear they were on to start the season, scoring so many goals. But I just think I don't know if they take a huge step forward with this move, but I think they'll be all right because their goaltending and their D-core is far too talented. I think they will turn it around. Now, will they be at the top of the division? No, they'll probably be fighting for that third, fourth spot, but I don't see a huge turnaround. But in the end, I think this team is still good enough and has the pieces to be a playoff team.
Quick comments on the live stream on Twitter. It says, is Ducharme's job only safe as long as Price plays well and has the Habs win games? Might be. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out. If Carey Price, because they're going to still ride him. Even if Jake Allen's got better numbers, Carey Price is the franchise goaltender. They're still going to ride him. So if his game doesn't get any better, who knows what ends up happening at the end of this shortened, weird season. Let's bring in Chris Abbott from CoolBet. They are the presenting sponsor here of Two Guys and a Goalie. If you have not yet signed up at CoolBet and you want to get into the sports wagering game a little bit, go to CoolBet.com. That's where you can get in. Stay cool. Bet responsibly. When you sign up for an account, use the bonus code. Enter the bonus code 2GUYS, number 2, and the word guys, and you'll get hooked up with a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Chris joins us today. Mr. Abbott, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, boys. Hope you're well, and I apologize for the the cardinal sin of being backlit in my window here. It's not good, but I'm doing some renovations around the condo, so this is what you got today.
That's okay. We'll deal with it, buddy. Is all the money tonight on Montreal? Like, are they expecting the bump against the Jets or what?
Well, I think it's a great time to bet on the Jets as home underdogs, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I mean, the money's coming in on Montreal. Everybody thinks that, the coaching change, the guys are going to be inspired and they're going to go and they're going to be better. And I don't buy into those narratives all that much. Montreal's sliding right now and they're trying to figure things out. And they're going into Winnipeg against one of the top goalies in the league while their goalie hasn't been outstanding. So I'm gonna let the money come in on Montreal and then bet on Winnipeg as a home underdog tonight.
I want to know about the. I just don't know how to do it, but I want to do some Scotty's Tournament of Hearts. Are you getting a lot of movement on Alberta out there? Like, it seems I want to put some money on it, but it doesn't seem like it's that good a bet.
What to bet? Well, I mean, so it's interesting. We are getting a lot of action on the Scotties, to be completely honest with you. More than we could have expected. Now, obviously, Alberta plays Yukon today as we're recording this, and that Yukon team. Honestly, boys, if we went in, we'd probably give them a game. They're not good. Really, really not good. So yeah, everyone who plays them this will be Yukon's last game. They get into the championship round tomorrow, so I expect that the betting lines will tighten up a little bit. And we've got a little preview of that today. Rachel Holman against Carrie Anderson, which is almost a pick 'em for top spot in Pool A. So that's it's been fun. I mean, hey, if you haven't bet curling before, that shit is stressful, man.
Yeah,
I couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to handle it. I'd just be screaming at the TV the whole time.
Like a couple of times, even little stuff like betting over under, right? The total is normally 12.5, and I'm watching a game and it's like 8-2 with like 2 ends left, but they like shake hands, so their total is 10. Boom, under, you're done. Your over bet is killed. So little nuances like that, yeah, it's absolutely it's fun though, man. It's a lot of fun. Briar's going to be great too. Great field with the Briar.
Okay,
Chris, when you look at a game like Edmonton and Vancouver tonight, in terms of betting, obviously, I mean, Edmonton's on a heater. Vancouver gave up a 3-0 lead in the last game. I mean, which way do you go here? Because something's got to give eventually. Like it's always so tough because it's like, can Edmonton keep this rolling, or is Vancouver going to find a way to kind of avenge that 3-0 that 4-3 loss? On Tuesday night. Like when you see a game like this, like what's the best way to kind of approach it?
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver's not going to lose every game this year, and Edmonton's not going to go on a run. So you just got to find the spot where the underdog's going to win, right? It's hard, and it's increasingly harder as these teams play multiple games against each other. That's why and we've talked a little bit about this before, but that's why I've gone down the prop road a little bit. Like you can get decent prices on Connor and Leon to score goals tonight. JP is like plus 270 to score a goal tonight. So that's kind of how
Who did we lose?
No, he's there.
Is he still talking?
Yeah.
Okay, I lost him. You guys keep talking to Chris. Let me reset.
Nice. I might follow you, Chris. I might follow you. Yeah, Dusty's he's with us. He's not with you, so we'll continue this. I guess you're with Hernan, Gager, and Kassian, but not Dusty. So.
was the day that the clock started ticking on Claude Julien, to be completely honest with you. I think everybody knew that this was eventually going to be Dom Ducharme's team, and I fully expect him to be named lose the interim tag after the end of this year, as long as it's not a complete disaster.
Is there any betting for coaches being fired, or the first one to go at the beginning of the year, or no?
Yeah. We'll pop it up every now and again. If it's one of these things that's really hard to quantify, right? So
yeah,
from a risk management perspective, our guys don't love doing it, but every now and again you'll put up, who'll be the next coach to be fired, or any other silly prop that you might want to encounter as you go along.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent, Chris. Well, I appreciate the time, buddy. Sorry I disconnected there for a little bit. I got back right at the end for the Ducharme talk, and that was it. But we made her back in, and we'll catch up next week, buddy.
All right. Yeah, I can hear you now, Dusty. Sounds good, man. Talk soon.
There you go. That's Chris Abbott from Cool Bet Canada. I'm not too sure what happened there. That was weird. Like, Gager froze, Cass froze. I was still moving, but I couldn't hear what Chris was saying. It was Hernan. Hernan had the old Wayne's World moment when Wayne left Garth, and he was just like, "Oh, hey guys."
You know what? I'm disappointed though. I'm disappointed, and I'll tell you why. Because I had a big question for Chris today.
Oh no! What was the question? I'm curious.
Ask him what kind of odds I would get on the basically like the sure thing in the Toronto Maple Leafs getting 100 points this season.
Well, I wonder what those odds would be. I'm surprised. I wonder if they have those things sitting around up there. That'd be great. It'd be pretty good money. I think there'd be a pretty good return on that one, Cass.
No, I would take them not getting 100 points, because all the statistical models and everything says that they're going to get over 100 points. So I want to go to the underdog bet just for a chance of a big payout.
You managed to find a way to fit that in every episode, buddy. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the skills. All right, let's continue with the Oilers here briefly. This is an interesting one to me with Mike Smith, and you saw what Dave Tippett said after the last game in the first intermission. Mike Smith had a few things to say to the room. The room had a few things to say to Mike Smith. And I think that can be good at times, but I think too much of it might start to drag on guys a little bit. So, Gager, how careful does a goalie need to be in picking those spots?
I think very careful. I mean, you're going to get a lot of guys. If you're taking that role, that's fine, but you got to pull your own weight as well. You can't be letting goals in from the corner and going in and saying, guys, let's get her going here, right? Like, you got to take care of your own house first. I mean, I think that's why Mike Smith is part of the Oilers. I think there is Tippett mentioned last year, I believe he brings something to that dressing room, a sense of accountability, and from all accounts, I don't think there are a lot of guys that are raw and hold guys accountable within the room. But it's the same thing as a coach. Like, you become the Charlie Brown's teacher, the want. You have to pick your spots, I think, as a goalie. You can't be holding guys accountable at all times, because as a goalie, it's you're the last line of defense, and if you're not the best, you have to be the best player on the ice, I believe, to be able to back up how you hold guys accountable in that room. So, it's a fine line to walk. He has the experience, and he's played for a long time, and he's been a really good goalie for a long time. So I think with young guys, he can have that respect. But again, it's you have to pick your spots, because after a while, guys are like, come on, Mike, just stop the puck, right?
Cass, do you play with any goalies that had, like the big vocal role in the room, or not the case?
Yeah, Craig Anderson was that way a little bit. Not all the time, but he would step up and say something at times. He probably would have been the one with the most that I can think of. I had a chance just through camp, like, to play with Smith a little bit in Arizona, my last year. So, I got to see him do that a little bit, and he certainly is a vocal guy. And you know what? I never mind goalies or players doing that, but it's call your own crap first, right? Like you gotta own your own stuff, and if you do that, then you can say something to someone else. And the thing I will say with Mike Smith, what gives him credibility is he will go out and he will battle. Yes, he's going to make mistakes, but they're going to be honest mistakes. Like they're not going to be lazy mistakes. They're not going to be mistakes because he wasn't trying. They're just going to be mistakes, and I think that led some credibility as well. That being said, you don't get to do it all the time because it would get tiring. But every once in a while, if you pick your spots, you can do it.
Hernan, what do you think about the role that he plays and how important it might be for this build of the Oilers team?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously a veteran guy, and the guys respect him in the room. And Tips alluded to that after the game, where he's had him, and he's always been kind of this fiery guy and not afraid to call it how it is. And for me, it's interesting because that game after the first period, like he whiffed on the first goal. Second goal is just a bad break deflection off Tyler Ennis' stick, and the third goal was a complete mess. And I know Cass broke it down with us on the post-game show. There was one mistake that led to everybody being out of place and leading to that goal. So it was probably more like, hey, guys, I won't let another bad one in, but that third goal can't happen again. Like kind of calling himself out and then pointing out a big mistake on that third goal. So I think it's good for this team. There's nothing wrong with holding guys accountable for mistakes and bad play and all that. And this team, for years, we've seen like there hasn't been that kind of fiery guy. So I have no issues with it, but I am with Gage and Cass, who have been in NHL rooms and have played the pro game where it shouldn't happen every time. Just once in a while is good. But if it's on the regular, I think that's a bad sign.
The best leaders I always had is if a guy maybe was having a tough night or just, he just something was happening that wasn't in line with the whole game plan. Good leaders wouldn't single them out in front of everyone, right? You would see them go over, maybe sit beside him in the room and have a little discussion, right? Like then you wouldn't even know what they said, and then there would be some noddings of heads and going from there, right? Holding people accountable amongst everyone is a little bit different. Usually those types of situations are reserved for when maybe the whole team is just stinking the place out, right? And one guy pops up, and usually in my mind that should be Connor or Leon, because those are the guys that are quite accountable on a nightly basis. But the best ones deal with those types of situations individually before they air the dirty laundry in front of everyone else, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, Gager, but I also disagree a little bit. And I'll give you the reason why. No, like
you guys hate each other.
Speaking, you're right, but it all depends on the personality of the player that they're having to discuss. Like, is it someone that's going to do better when they're called out in front of everyone, or is it someone that they're going to respond better when they're pulled aside privately and have that conversation? And leaders also know that maybe I pulled this guy aside a couple of times and things haven't changed, so now I need to do it in front of everybody. Similar to that, for me, the best leader that I ever saw would have been Daniel Alfredsson. And for him, I mean, a multitude of times, he would call out, not a multitude of times, that makes it sound like it was all the time, but he would call out the team, and he would on occasion call out some guys individually. But I think they were guys that he respected enough and that respected him enough that they were going to respond well. I don't think I ever saw him do it to a rookie or like a young player, not in front of everybody, but older guys that had been around for a while. He did it on occasion, but he knew when to do it and when not to do it. And further to that, Alfie was the type of guy, like if he would have told me to go run through the wall, or like if he would have been like, Cass, go run over their goalie, like take a suspension, run over the goalie, I would have not like questioned that. I would have just been like, okay, like he's telling me to do it, so I'm going to go do it. And the reason was, I don't think he ever would ask anybody to do anything that he wasn't willing to do himself. Someone may be better suited to it. Someone may have a different role. Someone may, have a certain skill set or be a style of player that they're going to be more effective in what he asked them to do. But you cannot tell me that if Daniel Alfredsson ever asked me, like, you need to go fight this guy or do this or do that. Like, he wouldn't at least try to do it himself first. Or if he had to, when push comes to shove, that he would be willing to stand up and do it. And to me, there's a hint of that in Mike Smith too, where, he can't go out and score a goal, but like if he needed someone ran someone over and he'd be the first guy in there dropping the gloves to start swinging if he had to be. And I'm just using fighting as an example, but like he's a guy that I think would stand behind what they say, and not a do as I say, not as I do type of player, because those ones are the ones in my mind that when they start calling people out, I'm just like, whatever.
like go take a slapper at Scott Niedermayer at the end of the game. You'd do that?
Yeah. I'd probably lay up a little bit on the slap shot. Like I wouldn't let it go 100%, but
he took a full bomb right at Scott Niedermayer at the end of that game in the finals that one year. That was hilarious. But because Mike Smith has scored, so Cass, so that's true. He has scored goals, so
yeah, it's true.
Maybe if I ever scored a goal, I wouldn't let anyone. If they hadn't scored a goal, I would hold that over them until they did score a goal for sure.
What would your Selly be if you would have scored a goal?
Oh God, I would probably do the football soccer slide. What's his name? What was that goofball's
Yakupov?
name? The Russian.
Yakupov?
I'd Yakupov it, not full length, maybe just within the zone, but and full jersey over the head. I think that's what I would do. Or I would just go full Ray Lewis and do his dance on the ice. So
I thought you meant cover up a murder.
Oh no! Or maybe the haka.
Wow.
Maybe I'd just do the haka, right? I'd just go full haka. And,
yeah, that'd be good.
Do the All Blacks. That would be special.
That would be good. Before we get to keeping it clipping, one more thing we got to talk about. This is a kind of a crazy story. Hernan, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
Yeah, Jeff Skinner is going to be scratched for the third straight game tonight. He's not happy. Ralph Kruger is saying he's playing. He's just going with the lineup that he thinks gives us the best chance to win. This is a case of maybe a little bit of regret by this signing. Listen, Jeff Skinner's a hell of a player. He's his career high 63 points. We all know he scored 40 goals that one season, but I guess this is a case of paying a good player, great player money. And this is going to hamper the Buffalo Sabres for so many years. And they're, fourth last in the NHL right now. The season's not going the way they envisioned. Taylor Hall struggling. Jack Eichel struggling. And Jeff Skinner's getting paid $9 million for many, many years. And he has one assist, and he's being scratched. Now, in saying
6
that,
years.
I'm not saying
Left.
that he's going to get back in the lineup. He's going to score goals. He's going to put up some points for the Buffalo Sabres. But I hope other GMs and teams, and I highly doubt they will learn from these signings. Like, oh man, this one hurts. He's going to be 29 in May, and you got him for 6 more years at $9 million, and he's scratched now for the third straight game. Has one assist, and is he going to hit 60 points again, guys? At 29 years old, like
Nope.
This is trouble for the Buffalo Sabres.
If I'm Jeff Skinner, I'm happy I'm scratched. Get to have a break. I'm still getting paid. Can have a nap, play some vids. Got so much room for activities.
He's got $56 more million coming his way.
Yeah.
Like, it's by far. Go ahead, Hernan.
Let's be honest. No one's taking that deal. Like they're stuck with that.
No, and it's too rich to buy out.
Yeah.
It's the worst contract in North American professional sports. Like, it has to be. It's $9 million a year. He hasn't been able to do anything. And I don't see Ralph Kruger being the type of guy that makes this from an emotional standpoint. Like, Ralph's not, you're pissing me off, you're scratched. Like, I think he would, there are obviously significant reasons that, and if you wanted to pay Jeff Skinner $9 million after he had that great season, do it for 3 years. Why? What a horrible, horrible contract. And on top of that, from the Buffalo Sabres perspective, boys, what are they now, 5-6 years into Jack Eichel? And no step in the right direction. They brought in Taylor Hall. He only has one more goal than Jeff Skinner, by the way. He's got one. Skinner has none. So that's $17 million paid that you've paid for one goal this year, which isn't good. But we know Jack Eichel has voiced his displeasure with the organization in the past. Cass, could it get to a point here in less than 10 months where the Sabres go, this isn't working. This isn't going to be the guy that turns it around. Let's take Rasmus Dahlin, build around him on the blue line, and start all over. Can you afford to do that? Because Eichel's a hell of a player.
Yeah, that's really hard to do. That's really hard to do. I mean, trading Taylor Hall, certainly you could look to do that. I would just be so hesitant. Like, you're not going to get back what you give when you trade Jack Eichel. You're just not. So you're going to lose that trade. Now, do you do it from a cap standpoint and from a trying to get more draft pick standpoint? Well, maybe, but even then, like, what's the likelihood that you get a draft pick that's going to be better in 3 years or give you more for the next 6 years, really, than Eichel is going to be able to give you? I don't know if that happens. So that's scary for them. Really, really sucks. I was hoping they'd be a lot better this year, but they're not. So guess we'll see.
God, I really thought that my favorite player there, Taylor Hall, would be kind of exciting to watch. But man, that's a tire fire there. I mean, granted I haven't watched too much, but just looking at their stats, it's not good. I don't know what you do. Too much. Obviously, Taylor Hall is going to be traded in a few months, right? Like, he's going somewhere. And hopefully something comes back worthwhile, I guess.
Wasn't there reports this week that Hall was wanting to sign an extension, or the Sabres were looking to extend him? Like,
yeah, because they're probably giving him $9 million for 6 years.
If you're Taylor Hall, and I know you haven't been contributing to their success or lack thereof success right now, and you're not really lighting the world on fire in a contract year when you thought, go to Buffalo, play extremely well alongside Jack Eichel, cash in on a huge money deal somewhere else. If you're Taylor Hall, though, do you really want to commit to 6 years in Buffalo right now with the way that organization's been going? There's no chance. I don't buy that for a second.
$9 million a year.
Yeah.
Then I can just start taking nights off, get healthy scratched, hang out at home, play some fids, fill my Paw Patrol blanket.
Cass, you look like a guy who broke into somebody's book room right now. Like, that's what this looks like. I've been thinking that the entire. In fact, somebody just commented on the live stream. DangleDom94 says, "Cass, are you going for the Post Malone look? Because it's spot on." That's good. All right. Let's get to Keep It or Clip It. I have 4 questions here. Oh, we haven't got to this one yet. This will be a good one. All right, boys, keep it or clip it. Someone on the Oilers will fight Roussel tonight. Keep it or clip it.
I'm going to keep it. That was that didn't warrant him dropping the gloves. That was looking at a big young Finnish guy that doesn't fight and going, oh boy, I bet you I can punch him a few times in the face before he even realizes what's happening. Someone should do something. I'm a little bit old school. If I had the chance to grab Pettersson after that, I would grab him and I would skate by the Canucks bench and look at Roussel and say, he's the reason why I did this. And then hold him accountable for doing something stupid.
Yeah,
Can you imagine if you had Chara and he was the one, and he like grabbed Pettersson and he just like picked him up with one hand. It was like, look what you made me do, and just like throws him.
Yeah, yeah,
that would be amazing. Like a puppy scruff. Awesome. Like on the back of the neck.
Yeah,
pick him up and deliver him over. Cass, do you think what does Jujhar Khaira go to Roussel tonight and say, hey, if you're gonna fight anybody tonight, I think so. You can fight me, or we can just go along with the game?
Yeah. I don't think you want to go. If you're Edmonton, you don't want to go out of your way to do it. And we had, so Hernan and I, on the post game show, we had some texters text in and say, like, I can't believe that anyone on the Oilers didn't do anything about that. And I was like, well, they're trying to come back in a hockey game, so you can't really, like, it's a 4-point game. If it was a out of division game against a team you're never going to see again during the year, then maybe you go say something to the guy. But in that situation, you need to win a hockey game and you need to come back. So Jujhar should say something. Does he need to fight? No. Does he need to go out of his way to do it? No. Should he, if he gets an opportunity? Yes. And you know what? He should do it for Dusty.
You know what? If Jujhar Khaira fights Roussel tonight, I will come up with a Jujhar Khaira fight song for the show tomorrow morning. I'll have that ready to go. Hernan, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything Cass said. Last game, it wasn't the time of the game to do that. So I expect JJ to do something tonight. We'll see.
Travis Green will be the next head coach in Canada fired. Keep it or clip it.
Canada, hey?
Keep it. Well, yeah, I'm still going to keep it. I think he would be the most likely.
I will. Yeah.
DJ Smith will get fired. I know he'll stay for another year. No, they're not going to do that. Yeah, keep it. He's the next one.
I'll clip it because if the Flames don't start streaking in a positive manner, Jeff Ward might be the next one out.
There's a few good coaches available, right?
He coached me with Claude Julien. They were in Hamilton together. That's another guy that just sucked it in. You're welcome.
All these guys
Mr. Ward.
Ruined your career. Unbelievable. All right, let's go with this one. It's International Toast Day. All right, celebrating toast. More than 2 toppings on a piece of toast is overkill. Keep your clip it.
Clip it. I mean, it all depends on what the toppings are. In some situations, I will say yes, but for most situations, no. And let me tell you why. You know what I like to do in my toast, and this isn't going to help the whole Post Malone thing. Is if I have any avocado or guacamole, I like to put a little guacamole on there. But before I put the guacamole on, I'll actually put on a little butter. So I'll put a little bit of butter, a little bit of guacamole, and then if I have them, I'll slice some cucumbers really thin. And then I'll slice some tomato really thin, and then a lot of salt and pepper on top of it.
Wow.
And it is absolutely deadly. Absolutely. And you got vegetables too. It's like lots of vegetables. You got your healthy fats. It's delicious with the crunch of the toast.
I'm going to pass on that, Post Malone.
You know what, Dusty? You just need to try it. I know you don't like eating vegetables, but you just need to try it.
That sounds like a breakfast sandwich, though. That's
a good point. Like, is that actually classify as toast?
Because it's toast in the bottom and then nothing on top. Sorry, Hernan, I keep interrupting you today. I feel bad.
So we're open face. We're open face on that. Okay, so yeah, no, I'll keep it 2. You can go 3. I like my toast, butter, Cass. I'll go avocados, salsa with my poached egg on top. Little huevos rancheros. And
but isn't that like a open face egg sandwich as opposed to a piece of toast? What are we doing with toast here, boys? You guys get way too creative with your toast. I have not been living this crazy and wild toast game like you guys. Jeez.
It's still like a sandwich. Like in like for us Chileans, like with the avocado, we mush it up with a fork, put a little bit of olive oil and salt, and then you kind of stir it up, and then you put that on toast and add whatever you want on top. So I'm kind of with Cass. I'm big with the avocado on toast. And then, hell, you can even throw some ham on there, some cheese, like whatever you want. So I will clip it as well. I'm big on the avocado on toast.
We're putting ham on it and calling it toast? What the hell is happening right now? A little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of jam. That's a piece of toast.
But think about how much better that piece of toast would be if you had peanut butter, jam, and like a slice of crispy bacon on top of it.
Yeah, but then it would be like an open bacon sandwich, in my opinion. All right. Well, once we're all allowed to be together, we'll have breakfast, and I'll watch how you guys make your toast. How's that sound?
Okay. That sounds
all right,
good.
last one. Gaetan Haas is an everyday bottom 6 center in the National Hockey League. Keep it or clip it.
He is. Keep it. Yes, he is, and virtually as well. He is a bottom 6 player. So
of course.
Both worlds.
I'll keep it too. I've been really impressed with his game. I think him and Khaira have kind of they've hammered down those spots on the third and fourth lines right now. You're probably going to see Turris and Shore flip to the wings because they're playing so well. So I think Haas should be an everyday guy, so I'll keep it.
I'll be the dissenting voice and I'll clip it. I'm going back to the same allegory from earlier where, I feel like Gaetan Haas has followed up like 15 times on the phone with me. And I'm just listening to the messages, trying to decide if this guy is for real or if this guy is just pulling my leg with how he's behaving. So I'm close. I'm close, but I'm still going to say clip it.
He might be pulling your leg, but
final rose like that, Cass. You'll never get that final rose like that.
He'll be in the right position when he's pulling your leg. I like his positional play. I think he's a smart guy, so I think that helps. This is an interesting one. Blair780 on Twitter says Haas skates like he's on a Segway. It's like there's not a long, huge stride. It's just he's going around and his legs are staying in the same place. I have to watch for that tonight. See if we can get to that. All right, episode 120, Psycho Gage. As we realize that Gager stalked his way into his marriage, which was awesome. Boys, we'll be talking Oilers and Leafs in the 3-game set to end all 3-game sets when we're back together on Monday. What do they play Saturday? Quickly around the board. What happened Saturday night between the Oilers and Leafs? Cass, go first.
7-1 Leafs. Matthew scores 6.
Hernan.
5-2 Edmonton Oilers. Austin Matthews is dealing with a bit of an injury, so he can't score 7.
No, he's not, Hernan. No, he's not. They're just saying that so that he gets more heart votes. That look what he did.
That's true. I agree.
I am going to go 6-5 Edmonton. Both Matthews and McDavid have hat tricks. McDavid scores his third goal in the overtime period, pass from Leon for the Oiler win.
That would be amazing. I hope that happens. Gager, I hope you're right. That would be.
It's like that. Didn't Ovi and Crosby
and
right?
Ovi
back in the day
in the playoffs, wasn't it?
In the playoffs, yeah, Game 6, wasn't it? That they both had.
That was wild.
So
that was incredible. We'd like to see one of those in that day 3-game set for sure. All right, Two Guys and Goalie brought to you by Coolbet Canada. Stay cool, bet responsibly. For Gager and Cass and Hernan and Salas, I'm Nielson. Download the podcast if you're already downloading the podcast. Thank you very much for the support. Boys, have a good weekend, and we will chat on Monday.